So hello everyone. Good morning. Bonjour. Buongiorno. Bon dia. Konnichiwa. Uh, all right. Okay. Think now we don't need to wait for anyone. I was the one late. Okay.
Morning, Jill.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Gilles.
Today is a big day, and actually, it's a happy day today. Yes, yesterday I put the last dot on the third booklet of the Biology of Consciousness. So it's done. So now we finishing with just editing and adding up things here and there and everything. But eventually, the whole three section into one book, three booklets into one book is gonna come out, and just finishing the editing is going to be available, of course, for you like right away, through downloading. And then I'm publishing it, myself. We want to have the hard copy, things through Amazon and everything. We have already the right to publish. We got everything going. Okay, so today we're starting the something I never dreamed until this year I would be able to not only make a video of it, teaching the human potential fusion, which is a tremendous, for me, the jewel of the Taoist practice. It's really a practice that uh, exists, probably for such a long time, but has been kept for monastic practice only reserved for people that are able, they have the time and the leisure and the energy and the focus and the determination to improve as a person. And not only as a person with a certain agenda, like many people do. I just want that. No, but it's more like wide spectrum in terms of setting the right conditions for our minds to improve in all directions. And from the Eastern perspective, from an Asian way of thinking, and there is something that exists for them for the longest time that is missing in our civilization, is that how cognition, how the mind is made of. Not only rational thinking, but all those different aspects of the mind and cognition that we have. And it's a combination of all that creates one mind. And for a healthy opening of the minds, we need to open in all those directions. And in all tradition, there is no separation between, like we have here, that we call the separation of the church and the state. That makes a differentiation of spiritual practices and science being kept separated, which is a good thing for us. I'm not going to get into that. For the separation of the school state, for us, is the best thing. But in all, basically, and we're going toward that, we're going toward the called unifying. And that's unifying is a continuation of what we consider in the West as a unified field theory, meaning that all theories in terms of life, especially biology, has to come from one origin, not two, not three, and not only science or religion or different kind of spirituality. That's not required. And in our way of expressing in the West, we call exoterism and esoterism. When in the old tradition of Taoism, there's no such thing. So everything is the same thing, right? It comes from like one place, which is that unified field of knowledge, unified field of wisdom. That comes from everywhere. So basically, that's what the practice is, not so much a study of trying to know what's right, what's wrong, but what we're going to do is a practice that allows to open our minds in that direction and be able to get to set up by ourselves the belief system that would fit such practice. Yeah? So basically, we're going to have the approach a little reversed of what we're used to in the West in terms of analytical practice. We're going to go through practice and then using our belief system to see what fits, what doesn't. And eventually, by keeping integrating the different kind of knowledge that we get from the different intelligences, then we grow our minds by cultivation. And eventually, we find our truth that way. Instead of getting a belief system based on trying just to believe what other people told you, and which doesn't fit. It's not human. We need to become more human. And for that, we need a special practice. So the practice is going to work in a very different directions. Yes, we need to set up our brain to be able to do that. So it's going to be some physical work. Physical intelligence is the most important, very central. We're going to start with this actually today. And then we're going to move on toward those two axes of the mind that establishes the fact that we have 5 intelligences, not only 1 or 2. And we're going to set the right conditions for us to be able to cultivate our whole minds in those 5 directions at the same time. That works? And of course, every intelligence has a very specific function. And one of the big function of that fusion, of that opening the human potential, is to be able to grow, we call maturity. And that involves the emotional aspect of the person. And that's a big dimension. That's what we're gonna spend a little more time on this, of course, because that's what we need foremost in this civilization. So that's going to be the second formula, and that's going to start maybe in a couple of sessions. We're going to start right away, of course. Everything goes together, but we're going to really have a big emphasis on emotional digestion and emotional processing in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. First formula is to set basically the infrastructure for it, and that's your body. It's not only the body, it's I am. It's a sense of self. And the sense of self we have integrated in the body. I was born and I'm here. Now what? Basically, that's what the first formula is about. So the first formula is really to set the good perspective on existence. It's not only the universe, not only the world, not only your surroundings, is existence itself. So, and that's in your body. I am. Second formula, well, we just mentioned it, is the big work of growing as a person, acquiring maturity through emotional digestion, emotional processing. That's the big one, the second formula. We're going to spend a couple of sessions on that. Then the third formula, that's when it starts to be fun. And when we start to get the process going of growing as a person, then there is a full expansion of the mind getting in process there in 5 directions. And so we start with continuing from the second formula, continuing processing, but getting a perspective of where we want to go with that and connecting with the source, basically, of those intelligences outside of ourselves. And the fourth formula, that's bliss, basically, and starting to enter the bliss. It's really connecting at the source, at the more, let's say, intimate level, and developing personal relationship with the source of life in order to be able to improve it and develop a better connection with life itself. Is that the deal? everyone's on the right page. You make sure you're here for that kind of reason, because we're going to get deep into that. And that's going to take a lot of introversion and a lot of processing. And the reason why it's been kept so long in basically esoteric practice, meaning reserved for people that are so-called ready for that, and maintained especially in monasteries protected by thick walls. For that is because it's not easy. It's not easy practice, and basically going through it is not jumping into paradise. Basically, the paradise has to be created, and for that it takes a lot of work. And the work is in within ourselves. The process of growing as a person takes not only time, it takes a lot of energy. It takes actually three main factors. You have to be at the right place at the right time and doing the right thing, which is earth. That's a support system. And again, to get that kind of support system is so easy. If your life is based on survival, you have to work all day long just to provide food for yourself and the family. You don't have time, you don't have the energy for that. And so you have to have that condition that supports you in that endeavor, which is not easy. You have to have the right kind of energy for it, meaning that is becoming priority, because it takes a lot of energy to heal. And for that, you have to have it ready for it. And then, of course, is the maturity you acquire step by step that makes you grow as a person, that allows you to continuously get yourself to the next step of evolution in terms of cultivation of the mind and of the person. That works? See, I like to be precise in terms of what is it, what we do, and why we do it, because it has to become authentic. We have to work for good reasons, and that's basically the way to deal with your whole mind. Meaning that working with your whole mind is a constant bargaining with yourself. So very important to keep in front of you the reward, meaning that you're just not doing it because it's fashionable. Okay, you're not doing it just because no, you do it because you want to improve yourself, so you can improve your life. You maybe came already to that kind of maturity where you know that there's no way to improve my life if I don't improve myself from the inside out. And that's the whole idea. So that's what we call, basically, in a nutshell, healing process, the healing field, and the field of healing, which is the field that allows you to get better and stronger instead of weaker and deeper into pathology. And again, getting also in touch with the fact that pathology is not an evil thing. No, usually when you fall back into pathology, it's because you already fell back into regression. So pathology is there specifically to kick you out of it. Try to, it's an attempt to get you into the healing process. So the whole idea is not to wait until you get sick and to heal. So you're entering that field of healing. So for people that's asking what's in the background over there behind me, that's for me a very important piece of art that's extremely old. It's actually coming from archaeological dig in Crete, from an ancient temple that's dedicated to Asclepius. Asclepius is the guy that's, that we know, the symbol of all pharmacies and all the doctors, the caduceus, the snake around that cane. The cane belongs to Asclepius. He's the guy holding that cane there, and is the god of medicine, one of the sons of Zeus. And that temple All right, behind me is just the ground of the temple, the mosaic. That's on the ground where people lie down there and did a process we call incubation, which is sleeping over things that are an obstacle in life. In ancient time, there's no specialized, no such thing as specialized medicine. Everything is holistic. So people knowing that he was sick is because that was an extension of what was going on in their life that was not right. So what to change and get inspiration through sleep. And that's a practice we do ourselves with sleeping Qigong and all that work that is required to set the right conditions to not only to be and to step into the healing field, but to stay in there and to keep getting better. That works? Okay, time to practice. Number one, establishing the bridges of consciousness, and that's breath. Breathing connects every single level of consciousness within yourself and outside of yourself. And we're going to see that when I start guiding you there. So, number one, being aware and physiologically of the shape of your lungs. Your lungs are bigger in your back than in the front. So forget about the front. We put too much attention there because we have eyes in front of us. We don't have eyes in the back. We don't even have eyes on the side like most of animals. So we don't see what's on the back. And that's where we get ourselves, man. It's like carrying stuff in there we don't know. So we cannot see, but we can breathe there. We can open the bridge. So being aware of your ribs and your back. Yeah, so bend forward a little bit. So you can expand your ribcage in your back as you inhale. So if you want to still see the sphere in your abdomen, make sure you breathe on the back of the sphere, not only the front of the sphere. If you breathe in the back of the sphere, you're going to see that your ribcage is going to follow, opening like an umbrella all around your body. If you expand the frontal part of your abdomen, then you restrict the back, the half of your umbrella on the back. So breathe. Don't worry about the front. Breathe on the back, and the front will open by itself. So basically, breathing is autonomic. It should be, directed. So if you force anywhere, you're restricting the breath. So by breathing in your back, you're actually giving yourself permission to reestablish some bridges that's being cut out. And that's again a good part of the bargaining we're starting to do with ourselves. It's okay to protect ourselves from feeling bad. By protecting ourselves from feeling bad, we're also protecting ourselves from feeling good. And that's no good. So a little bargaining. So I want to feel more. So I might feel first a little worse because I'm going to discover things I've been hiding from myself. But then what? Well, keep the prize in front of you. I'm going to feel better than ever because I'm expanding the capacity to feel better. There. So now put your hands on the back of your ribs and keep breathing on your back and try to feel which side of your ribcage breathes easier than the other. And again, also number one, don't try to correct right away because there's always probably a good reason why you do that. And you need to give yourself the strong message that it's okay. You probably have a good reason. You might know one day, you know about it, but right now what's important is to notice it. To be able to expand your awareness to what is it that I do? What is it that I do without knowing I'm doing it? So that's already first level of expansion of consciousness. There. Now keep breathing, in the back of your lungs, like you push the cruise control button there. So now you breathe. Every time you think about it, remember that your lungs are bigger there. And let your body weight sink as you inhale. And push your body weight comfortably into the ground as you exhale. So now you're connected within yourself. You start to connect first to the ground. Sinking as you inhale. Pushing your body weight comfortably to the ground as you exhale, and adjust your position so you're more comfortable. Better relationship with Earth. And Earth is not only the relationship between your butt and your chair, but the relationship within yourself, with your physical body. What can I do to make myself more comfortable? And keep gently, keep expanding as your body gives you more permission to explore by expanding your breath. Keep breathing in your back, opening the back. And be aware of the expansion of your lungs downward. I mean, your diaphragm is pushing down on your organs. And allow yourself to feel that push as low as possible. And eventually all the way down to the pelvic floor where you meet the ground or the chair, whatever it is you're sitting on. And now it's all about relationship. A relationship within yourself that you want to improve, because you cannot expect to have a better relationship with anything outside of you that you don't already have with yourself. So better relationship with the outside world starts with your inner world. So good relationship, what you do? Smile. So smile in your breath, smiling to the back of your lungs, smiling all the way down to your pelvic floor. And all the way down from the pelvic floor as you inhale, and feel your breath opening all the way to the back of your shoulder blades. Sinking as you inhale, smiling down, smiling to the back. Now you're building a bridge of consciousness. You have to send a strong message that it is positive, it is, it's not with aggression. There. So you're not going to force, no forcing. Sending a strong message of non-aggression. And even beyond that, you want to smile, you want to attract. It's okay, we're going to find things that we've been trying to hide for good reasons. But hey, you know what? Also, we're going to connect with things that we don't know how much we like it there. We're going to just clear up the space, clean up. Very good. Sinking as you inhale, smiling to the ground. And feel that connection with the ground. And from the ground, feel that vital connection. Life is a big part of life is coming from there. I was born from the earth. So the earth will still have this attachment called gravity. Earth is unconditional. And once we're born, Earth is not gonna let go of us so easily. And we're born for a reason. And Earth wants us there. And we're filling up a very important space in existence. So feel the connection with life coming from the ground. And it's not only earth, there is water, there's all those forces. Earth, water together creates woods. So connect with everything alive around you, all the plants, all the animals, the bugs, even the microbes. Everything alive around you connect with the same network in the ground. We're all fruit of the earth. Even more than that, we have even the same base DNA, so that we have a common ancestor somewhere. And that's why you can eat the lettuce, and lettuce becomes you, because it shares same DNA. So we are cousins with everything alive. So breathing in, that connection, establishing that mental bridge with everything alive, keeping in mind that we're all same family. And be aware of the sense of self. I am right here, right now, on this place, sitting on this place, in this room, in that building, outside, that place in the country, with all that very specific landscape around it. And the beauty of that landscape. And be aware that you're part of it. So your presence being part of what is right around you, right here, right now. So I am part of that landscape, the same way that the trees out there, the birds on the trees, in the same way those animals on the trees, the squirrels, the birds can look at the house and me inside the house as part of the landscape. And then next, be aware to the extended footprint you have on existence. You eat every day. The food is coming from a place you want to buy, but it's being grown by someone, be brought to the store by someone else. So the fact that you eat, it connects you with a lot of people that you might not know, but they provide you to your sustenance, and in exchange, you're part of their livelihood. So your footprint extends much further. That's the immediate landscape around you. And then also connecting with what you wear. Someone else made that shirt. Someone else made the cotton, made the fabric. Then this cotton in there was grown somewhere in the world by someone you not know, but you connected with. And everything that's around you that you use. You have a computer that's created. You don't know where, how. There's so many people involved in there. You bought a computer, meaning that you contribute to their livelihood. They contribute to your lifestyle. So you network, you're called the zone of influence, goes all around the planet several times. So keep connecting with that. Keep connecting with the fact that your energy body, and that's fed by the presence of all the people around you, is vast. It goes all around the planet, just from the fact that you eat, you wear clothing, and you use objects that requires production from all over the planet. So connect with the fact in your body that I am extends very far. There's the immediate extension all around you and within the landscape, your presence, and your presence extends to a whole zone of influence that feeds you, that dress you up, and that allows you to have equipments and objects like your car, your computers, and your watch, whatever you use every day. And that requires the presence of a very tight network of people that contributes to your life. So breathing in that space. So I am a very important part of the mind, because that connection with a zone of influence carries a tremendous amount of information that connects with yourself, with your health, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. Okay, we're going to continue. We're going to move on from here. What is it that we call I am? So I am is something that we're going to keep working at improving. And it has a physical presence, of course. When we say I am, and there is a biology to it. But there is something in the biology that allows it to be alive. It's true biology, the logos of the biosystem, and the knowledge of being alive. What is it that makes life? Because I could be dead and still have the same body. No, there's something that keeps me alive. It's called vitality, the energy of life. And that energy of life runs through a energetical path, whatever you say it, and that conducts that's fluids or whatever that we call qi in Chinese, or ki in Japanese, or we don't have a name in English. That's why we're going to keep using those foreign names called qi, because it's not only energy, it's not only a life force, that's already 2 words. It's much more than that. It's intelligent life force. It's a power that runs through the body with the intention of giving you the best life possible according to life purpose, according to the place you have in existence and what you do with it. So keep breathing in the back of your lungs. Start to think too much, start to hold your breath. Breathing the back of your lungs. So don't worry about what I'm saying too much. And the practice is important. It has to be calm in the body. Feeds the body's wisdom. Your body knows that already. Just verifying that fits your experience. It's not about understanding it. It's about experiencing it. So that energy structure in the body has a name that exists in all civilization but our own. We call the fountain of life, we call the tree of life. We call so many different names to different places. But at the biological level, the strict physiological level, it's mostly made of the chain of endocrine glands in the body. And the endocrine glands that provide us with the most sophisticated system of information in the body. Much richer, much stronger, much bigger than the nervous system. Our science, Western science, puts all this emphasis on the brain, which is actually a very small part of it. So we need to expand away and beyond just the brain. And also we have a tendency to use brain and mind as synonyms when actually they are very different. Brain is a piece of meat, like the other part of we call the self. We're not only meat. Well, first information. And that's why it's important to study a little bit of physics. If you study a bit of physics, you know there's only two things in the universe. Is energy and information. And everything we call material, everything we call solid or whatever, is a combination of information and energy that allows things to accomplish, it's about function, their place in existence. And that's where the unified field theory is eventually is going to have to come from. It's not only a particle, it's not only a wave, it's a function. We have to take out that focus on the building blocks, but more like a holistic perspective on life. So really putting the minds on that part of ourselves that's beyond just the body, but goes through the blueprint. The reason why we look this way is because the energy is set up a certain way and eventually it provides a structure. And it's like when you build a house. Now we don't just start to build a house, we have to have a blueprint. So the house exists before you start to build it. So that's the energy body. It's not only energy, it's the information that carried by the energy. And that's what we call the fountain of life in the body. And the fountain of life is made of the function of every single part of it. Every single part of that fountain of life, we call also in the tradition, Taoist tradition, the macrocosmic orbit. And there is a function that connects with that part of existence. And that's what we're gonna do right here, right now, okay? So reconnecting with your zone of influence and your breath in your back, sinking as you inhale, pushing your body weight into the ground as you exhale, and connecting strongly, like plug in to the life force coming from the ground. Smiling there, smiling to your butt. So the earth smiles you back. Against this relationship. Yeah. You want to save the earth, but believe me, it's the earth that wants to save you. So you want to open yourself to it. Earth will be just fine. We need the support. In the support, you feel it, and your contacts with the chair, with the ground, smiling there. And that's the beginning of the fountain. That's where you plugged in. So you have the source of vitality running there. That's like a bubbling spring going up. So if you're standing, through your feet. If you're sitting down, it's through your pelvic floor. It accumulates like a fluid there, like the vasque of a fountain. And it goes from the pelvic floor to your sacrum, crossing over to your sexual center. And that's why we were built that way, because of the function. And the program is first you feel the support on the pelvic floor, like anything alive around you, like even trees. And then it goes to your sacrum. And the sacrum is for momentum in life. And even the trees, all the plants are growing toward the sun. And why? Because it is enjoyable. So we're going across your sexual center. Sexual center is not only for sex. It's not only for reproduction. Sexual energy is for enjoyment and social and connecting with others. So anytime you're social, anytime you're enjoying yourself, you're spending sexual energy. It's not only sex. The world civilization is so obsessed with sex. Why? Because it's very weak. We don't have enough vitality there. We don't have enough enjoyment of life. So let it run. So feel that the first jet of that fountain of life. Pelvic floor, sacrum, sexual center. And don't try to make it run. It's already running. Just be aware it's there the same way you're aware of your breath. In the same way that being aware of your breath improves your breath, especially when you direct your mind toward the back of your lungs, being aware of the pathway of the first jets of the vitality in your fountain of life improves that automatically. You want to connect with the comforts, sitting against the ground, feeling the support of the ground. So we receive that support, unconditional support. No matter who you are, what you do, you're supported. Going up to your sacrum, that's for momentum. We're not like trees, we have legs, we want to move. And we want to move toward what? Toward enjoyment. We want to do something we like, the way we like it. That's why the sexual center is right in front of your sacrum, right there. It's not above your head, it's not on your nose. It's there. First jet. We're born to enjoy life. That's what it means. And we're born to do things we like. Again, function before being. First jet. So we are first jet, we are alive, therefore we want to enjoy life. And to enjoy life means doing things we like to do, the way we like it. And then we're going to connect with a second jet. Second jet from the pelvic floor, going up, we call the door of life, opposed to your navel and your back. And called kidneys. And kidneys with capital K, that connects with DNA. And the energy that comes straight out of your bones. And the bones, the shape of your bones is the same as your ancestors. There are no other people on earth that can have the same kind of bones that you have, but your bloodline, your kids, and your parents, grandparents, whatever. So we call ancestral energy. And ancestral energy is one of the strongest energy we have. This is water energy. is really where we get the vitality. Vitality means the program, the memory of life, basically. Everything, all the lessons learned by everything alive before you. And that's, I mean, the whole history, not only of humanity, but of the history of the evolution of life is there. It's tremendous. You cannot go against your instinct. And that's the intelligence that comes right out of this intelligence. Things that you know you didn't know you knew. You know how to walk perfectly if you listen to your body. You know how to run. You know how to climb a tree. You know how to jump. It's programmed because it's been done so many times before you. So that's the ancestral energy. So relax against it, like you're sitting on an armchair. You're supported. You're the last one of the last ring of very long chain of events. We are very strongly supported by ancestral energy. Even if your immediate ancestor might not be so good, and there are some ancestors in there that want you where you are, because you have continuing business, basically. You're not the first one in your bloodline that's liking what you do the way you like it. Ancestral energy, so second jet, moving from the pelvic floor to the door of life, connecting with the energy, crossing over to your navel. That's the energy you're using right here, right now. The way it's been done before you. And then down to your sexual center, because you want to enjoy what you do. And to the pelvic floor for support. And up to your sacrum for momentum, and door of life for inheritance. And you're relaxing on your inheritance. You got a lot of wealth in there. So now you have two jets in that fountain of life, going up your back, crossing over the front and then down the front into a continuous flow. So be aware of those two jets in a fountain, and that's the two jets that you share with everything alive again. Everything alive now as an ancestor somewhere. It won't be alive. Life comes from life only. There's no such thing as artificial life. Because life comes first with information, comes with the mind. So be aware of those two jets, and then be aware of the third jet. Third jet is another quantum leap from those two first jets. And go from the pelvic floor to your sacrum for momentum, then door of life for inheritance is going to go up one more step. T11, that's the vertebrae opposed to your solar plexus. And that's the vertebrae that's moving easily. If you bend, if you turn around, that's the place in your back that moves right away. And that's T11. So that's for choice. Once you start to live, you're given the choice. And the choice is to basically choosing to be yourself and always choosing to be a better self. So the art of always choosing the very best for yourself, that's in your back. So if your back hurts ever here, it's because your conflicts with yourself, basically doing something you don't really like, or getting something that's, internal conflict with there. So very important piece of information there. Choosing from all the inheritance you receive from your ancestors. You're not like your siblings. You're not like your other family members. You are a person that's different. So you take only what fits you and fits you well. Things that you really like from that inheritance. And that crosses over to your solar plexus, and that's where you have the sense of self. Sense of self. I am. I feel. We call the pit of the stomach, because so much anxiety. When you feel anxiety, it's because you're not allowed to be yourself. Or you feel yourself being threatened, a sense of self being threatened. I am. I'm probably very similar than others, but I'm a person, I'm very particular about a lot of things. So recognizing that differentiation between the self, sense of self, even though we just saw that the self has a very huge zone of influence. So now we have 3 jets in our fountain of life, going up the back, crossing over the front, down the front to continuous flow. So be aware of that energy of life that's given by the earth, providing that beautiful fountain with 3 jets now. And you can mentally shine the sun on that fountain. So if you have a beauty, there's nothing more beautiful than the light shining on the water, flowing, and especially on the fountain going up and down with all the sparkles and the rainbows. So the 3 jets, 3 first jets of the fountain of life, the microcosmic orbit, that's the fundamental jets of being a human. I am. I am, I do, I have a presence. Now the next level, the 4th jet, that's about becoming more human, opening the heart. So from the pelvic floor, you feel the fountain, that jet, the fountain, moving from pelvic floor for comfort, the door of life for inheritance, or first the sacrum for momentum. So again, beginning from the pelvic floor for support, unconditional support. Door of life. Nope. Why am I jumping that sacrum? Sacrum for momentum. And getting the momentum in there. Momentum in life, meaning that you need to wait until you jump. You need to gather energy. See, I'm too much in a hurry. Pelvic floor support. Sacrum for momentum. Gathering momentum. And then going to the door of life where you rest again. You're gathering the ancestral energy. It's just about calming water. More serotonin, less adrenaline. Taking the time. And once the energy gathers there, then it goes to give you choice. And choice, again, you have to take the time. Take the time to choose. And you pick up only the very best. Crossing over to your solar plexus, and that's I am. I am made of things I like. Down to your navel, your personal energy. And down to your sexual center for enjoyment. Pelvic floor for support and rest. And so feel that fountain of life with 3 jets running now, providing you with the most essential parts of life force, of function, participation to life. And then the 4 jets going up your back from the pelvic floor, all the way up to T4, opposed to your the back of your heart, basically, opposed to your sternum. Crossing over to your heart, opening your heart. So from the back, it's about freedom. You have to free yourself from all the luggage you don't need in your life. This is too much to carry. I need to free myself. So opening the cage, as you let that red bird fly. That's your spirit. It's a crazy bird. It's okay. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful red bird that is so beautiful, you need to follow it no matter where it goes. So you open the cage, open the heart. So open to spirit. Open to spirit means being ready to follow your guide in life. And your guide in life is coming out of your heart. It's telling you basically what it is that you really like, what it is that you care for, what is important, what is that's important to you. And that's what we call love eventually. Love is a word that's so different kind of levels of meanings. But the most important is about making your heart feel good. Feel the warmth in there. So building, basically, once you have the warmth in your heart, you get enthusiasm for life. And that enthusiasm you want to share. That's the spirit. Spirit is to be shared. So you feel that fourth jet that goes up to your fourth dorsal vertebrae, crossing over your heart, and then down to your solar plexus, feeling the sense of self. I am what I like, and especially what I like to be, what I like to do. And down to your navel, personal energy, sexual center for enjoyment. I want to keep enjoying the whole thing. And down to the pelvic floor for support and rest. Up your back to your sacrum for momentum, door of life for inheritance, T11 for choice, T4 for freedom. You want to free yourself so you can choose the very best again. Crossing over to your heart, opening the heart to the spirit, following your inner voice, you call intuition, and the guide, your inner guide. And feel now your fountain of life, 4 jets. Now it's really starting to be beautiful. With an open heart, that's a very beautiful jet there. So 4 jets in a fountain of life going up your back, crossing over the front, down the front into continuous flow. Now we're becoming more human. Now we have the function of being human. So that's a function of building we call humanity, social network of support. And so that's a very big, it's not so easy to do. I believe that's why we're getting stuck in our humanity, in our civilization right now. Is to get that energy going up your back all the way up to C7, the base of your neck. That connects with your hands. And so your hands is what you use to communicate what's out of your heart. You do things you like. You trade, you give, you receive, you hug, you touch. So that's following spirit. And so all the way up to C7, that's to reach out to others. Crossing over to your throat so you can verbalize, you can explain, you can share your spirit. And then down the front, down to your heart, of course, the spirit to share. Solar plexus, yourself, sense of self involved. Your pectoral energy at your navel. And your sexual center that you use for communication because you don't want to do it with enjoyment. And pelvic floor for support. Up your back to your sacrum, the momentum in life. I'm going to give you the vitality. And then door of life to keep, continuing the flow from the ancestors and the T for the choice, and T11. C4 for freedom. C7 to reach out, crossing over to your throat for expression and sharing. Down the front, up your back into continuous flow. And you have a nice fifth jet in your fountain of life. And feel it inside your body. Feeling like put the light in there, exposing to the sun. Opening the throat. Opening your capacity to have a voice. Yeah, that expands. It's called the... and that place in the throat is so important, so much energy there. Let it bloom like a lotus, expanding on the front, the back, on the sides. We call it thyroids. And when the problem is thyroid, because the problem with communication. Not be able to swallow what's been communicated to us because not acceptable. Or not be able to express what's coming out of our heart. That's a very common problem right now in our civilization. Things that we cannot swallow. Cannot blame it. Can't swallow bricks. So for that, we need to be able to connect with the big support system, a circle of support that allow us to accomplish things we cannot possibly do on our own. And this fifth level of individuation in a microcosmic orbit, be able to not only establish a strong network of support around us, but make sure that yourself is a strong link. People can count on you the same way you can count on them. And once you communicate, then it continues on its own automatically. And that's the human level, sharing consciousness, human consciousness, participating to the expansion of consciousness, the mental level, getting the sixth jet that goes up your back to the base of your skull. That's for obstruction, for the widest range of perception. Crossing over to your mid-eyebrow for focus, for understanding, for mental clarity. And then down the front to your throat for expression, and down to your heart for spirit, solar plexus, sense of self, navel, personal energy, sexual center for enjoyment, pelvic floor for support and rest. And up your back to your sacrum for momentum, door of life for inheritance, T11 for choice, T4 for freedom, C7 to reach out, base of the skull for mental level. Consciousness. And once you have the 6 jets and the 7 jets also open on its own, all the way up to the top of the head. And once you connect with mental clarity, then guidance comes to you effortlessly. And you're connecting with your guiding star. So you feel that energy going all the way up to your back to the top of your head, establishing the whole, that fountain of life at the human level. Going up your back, down the front to continuous flow. And you can really feel and contemplate that beautiful fountain of 7 jets. And so the top of the head connecting inwardly to your pelvic floor, connecting, feeling that the inner core of that fountain of life that's made out of that central channel, holding all the endocrine glands together, the reproductive glands and the pelvic floor, and that receive the vitality that can be transmitted for reproduction. And then the adrenals that receive that information coming from ancestry. And then it's called pancreas, but actually it's all solar plexus, very complex with the liver and the pancreas, that give you that sense of self. And that's the earth, your inner earth. So you have water energy coming from the bottom, from the earth, and with the pelvic floor, receiving that fountain of water, and then the ancestral energy being water also, the DNA, the memory of life. And then we get to earth. And that's the sense of self. I am. You're embodied, you're a piece of earth. And then from earth, then we have fire about that. We have the heart. And the spirit level. On the bottom, we have the past with the ancestors. We're on the present, on the earth and the body. And for that, we're stepping toward the future, making hopefully a better future with a spirit that connects with others. On the fifth level, on your throat. So you prepare right now in the present, your future with others. By making your present better, you're starting a better future. And then consciousness that connects you, the sixth level. That gives you consciousness. And the seventh level that gives you that guidance. And called cosmic fire. So allow yourself to feel and contemplate that fountain of life and expose it to the sun so you feel solidly anchored between what we called the underworld, the heaven and earth. And so earth at the center, the heaven above that attracts you toward life, and the underworld below of water of the past. So that's the spiritual axis of our energy body. The spiritual axis is made of water from in the back, in the bones, in the depth. That's the water energy, and your earth, that's your body, centered at your solar plexus. And then your inner fire that attracts you toward the future. Opening your heart. So you want to make sure you go the direction you like. And for that, you need a system of support that you share. So you need to share the spirit. Why is it that you like this? And how can you share this enjoyment of life? Enjoyment of life is not, you can't only do that by yourself. It's very boring. You need to share it. And for the next, the net benefit of that, it opens to your consciousness. This is what it is. And not only that, but by sharing your spirits, the network around you reflects a sense of self. I can see myself through the eyes and the ears and the touch of the others. This is what they perceive of me. And then the seventh level, next level, consciousness, always progressing. Always the next level of evolution. So be aware, still be aware of the fountain of life flowing through your body. Be aware of breathing in your back, sinking as you inhale, pushing your body weight into the ground as you exhale. Feel the fountain of life slowly centered around the sense of self. I am. and the zone of influence you have around yourself. So you are that one fountain among so many other fountains. And how those fountains are connected together, establishing, building from that one private piece of consciousness you have within yourself, or it is part of a shared consciousness with the whole human collective all around the earth. And rest. Okay, that's a very important part that fusion meditation and that human potential. Consciousness, expression of consciousness is really the infrastructure. It's what we're gonna keep feeding through the rest of all the other formulas all the time. Always making that fountain nicer, better, stronger, with the more body, more energy, more fluid in there, more beauty. And it's gonna change. It's gonna keep improving as we practice. The same way that your breath actually improves as you're more conscious of it. And giving yourself permission to explore places that we've been trying to avoid. Okay, I'm gonna take some questions before we continue. Okay, I have a question specific to David, because I started very confused being late. I'm very sorry still about this. So we go through 1 o'clock, right?
12.
To 12.
10 to 12.
Ah, okay, so that's why it was late. I thought I was kind of like, yeah, off. So it's already, we have only half hour. So it's okay. It's okay. We did actually the major part of that first formula of the microcosmic orbit, and especially the first axis of the consciousness, which is a spirit. Next week, we're going to continue with the soul, and the soul parts, and they're called the personal part, the spirit we share with others, and we share with the ancestors, and the water part, and we share with the future, with the community we have right here, right now around us, that preparing for the making a future for the next generations. And that's fire. And next week, we're going to go through the personal. What is that we call the soul, which is that we don't share, and that we participate with in terms of, that's how we build human consciousness, is by having all those droplets of personal consciousness making a whole ocean of humanity there. And that's again a fractal way to look at existence. Not only the ocean is made of drops, but within each drop of the ocean there is the whole ocean there. It's the programmation. And water cannot help but goes from, even when it rains on top of the highest mountain and freeze there, eventually it's going to find a way all the way to the ocean. There's no way around it. It's programmed, it's in there. So in each particle of water, there is the ice of the mountain, but also there is the ocean. So same thing in humanity. Every person holds the whole of consciousness of the whole humanity in there, and contributes to establish it with every single member. So that's about participation. We're not there yet. We're trying to. We're not quite human yet. We're just trying to become more human all the time, and it takes more people than we think than we have already. And people are afraid, that, oh, 7 billion, 8 billion people, so many people, too many people. No, not enough. We need to be much more, and we establish a true humanity of people working together instead of against each other, the way we're doing right now. So that requires healing, being falling back into the right track, into our designed, programmed biology as human beings. And that's what the program is about. Okay, questions? Any questions about what we just did, of course, and the fountain of life, and especially technical aspects. And again, there's no such thing as stupid questions. And that's, if you think the question is stupid, actually, I really appreciate it asking it, because it needs to be answered. Everyone needs to hear it.
I have
Yes.
2 questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, during what we just did, we
Mhm.
at some part you mentioned coming up from the bottom, and then it's water, and then again the second level still water,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then going to earth and then fire.
Mhm.
I was wondering where can I feel the wood element in this 7 level?
Next week. That's the soul aspect of the consciousness. And we today we worked on the spiritual, it's water and fire with earth, of course. You're always involved there. You weren't carrying it.
Yeah,
Next week we're going to go through wood and metal,
right.
which is a yin and yang aspect of your minds. And that's it's not so much a line like from the past to the future. It's not so linear as water, earth, and fire. It's more like yourself as a sphere, with the superficial part being your rational thinking with wood. Yeah? So your surface, your aspect, your yang, what you express is your belief system, and that's your wood. That's the superficial part of the wood, the one that's the pier. But inside, you have an emotional self. That's the metal, and that's your inner crystal. And the inner crystal, your little diamonds, things that you not only you don't you share, try to share with others, but first you need to be able to be aware of yourself. It's hard enough to be aware of the way you feel yourself to share it. It's not so easy either. So that's where the essence, really the yin, the deepest part of self is. And it's actually the metal part. And that's the essence of your soul, basically. That's what carries your personality. That's what is your sense of self is. It's not only it's what I'm not only what I do and the influence I have, is how I feel. And wood is what I know. The very important part of consciousness, which is the reflective part. So we're going to get that more next week. And that's in your body, of course. But that's another axis. And that's why I believe that the symbol of the cross belongs to every spiritual schools, actually. It belongs also to Taoism, it's yin and yang. And we have that spiritual axis from, bottom to top. And then you have a right arm and the left arm, that's basically the other arm of that cross. And left side, right side of the brain, whatever, left eye, right eye. It's a different aspects of yourself. That's coming your rational thinking in one side and the emotional part of the other side. It's not one side or the other. It's for inner, outer, yin and yang. So we can say yin and yang by function, right hand usually, and left hand more emotional for right-handed people. I mean, all this is just theoretical. what we need to do, we're going to do next week, is really to integrate and have the feeling connected in a way it really is in order for it to improve. So we can play with it and we can keep growing as a person. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it's nice to get in touch with it from a non-rational level.
Yes.
Great feeling.
We're going to get into that next week. It's a very, very important part because that's where our civilization is stuck. It's stuck with the needing to understand, where our infrastructure of that understanding, our brain, is not developed enough to be able to get that amount of information. It's way too much in there. So our brain allowed us to understand to a certain level. After that, it's not understandable, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So it has to be used, even though we cannot understand how and why. So don't worry, we're going to get into that next week. Yeah. But everything is important. Okay. Other questions? So especially about the practice we did today.
Gilles,
Yes.
when you say open your cage,
Yes.
but you say you must breathe in your back, okay?
From your back. Yes, of course.
Yeah. But it's only a pictures open your breath, or it's
No pictures. Look, just do something. Put your hands on the lower back of your rib cage. Breathe there. So you basically you want to push your hands away with your ribs. So you breathe yourself out. Hear that?
Mhm.
Okay, so breathe a few times in your back. Now look at your belly, what's going on? It opens. Opens on its own. So when you do that in your back, in the upper back, the same thing is happening. You breathe on your T4, and that allows your sternum to drop and open up. And that's how you open the cage.
Okay.
If you try to breathe on the front, you lift your sternum and you close your rib cage right there on the front. So you prevent your heart. And not only that, but the upper and frontal part of your diaphragm is going to squeeze the heart instead of freeing it. To physiologically free your heart, you need to move the diaphragm away from your heart. You cannot do that by breathing up. That's going to squeeze it. So by breathing on your back, feel difference. Try to breathe up and lift your sternum. You cannot breathe any more than that. Very short. Now breathe on your back, and you can breathe in. You can breathe in, and you can breathe in, and you feel like your front is actually dropping when actually your whole rib cage is opening like an umbrella all around.
Yeah. Okay.
That's called opening your rib cage. So freeing your heart, I mean, stop the squeezing of the heart by the frontal part of your diaphragm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a big part of Tao Touch. And when we do the practice the Qin and Sang on people and with the Tao Touch approach, is to allow the freeing up for those all different organs so they can breathe. Yeah. Okay. Very good questions. Thank you.
Thanks. I want to say to wish best New Year everybody.
Oh, good. Happy New Year to you too. All right. Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I'm wondering if you could talk just a little bit more about the dropping or sinking as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Just
Yes. Do you have anything specific, or is it just general?
On the in breath, I'm hearing you say sink. You're sinking your energy, and then on the out breath, you're allowing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's it's because that conflict we have in the mind. We are educated as good Westerners to move away from the ground. And we say, oh, we're standing, we're vertical beings. And when we inhale, we don't want to smell the bad stuff. It's dirty down there, this microbes, all that. So we learn from the earliest age to breathe away. And what happens when you breathe away? You squeeze your heart. You breathe away from yourself. You breathe away from the earth. You disconnect from yourself. So very important base of Qigong is to reconnect to yourself by connecting to the earth. So instead of running away from the stench, from the dirt, from, we have all those vocabulary that's very negative toward the earth. We want to reverse that. We want to be curious. Oh, what's in there? You're looking for something you dropped. So you breathe. You want to get closer to the earth as you inhale. So you sink as you inhale. And that's organic movement. It's the movement, it's a cellular movement of breath. It's like the jellyfish in water. Jellyfish breathing, inhales and moves at the same time. So propulsion and digestion, everything. So that movement you want to have in the body, you sink as you inhale and you push yourself as you exhale. So you push yourself into the ground with that support. Is to build that sense of being supported. As the Westerners, we are being taught to support ourselves. You don't need to support yourself so much. You're already supported. And especially if you breathe away from that support, you disconnect from it. So we need to reconnect. So that's very important questions. It's when we inhale, we think we will do something that goes against what we're being taught. Very difficult. That's why it's hard for you to get because you're well educated. I went through that myself. I was well educated too. So that's why, it's so difficult. You think as you inhale instead of moving away. And once you're there, you use it. You push against, you feel the support from the ground. Yeah.
I like
So
I like
you feel the support. Yes.
very nice.
That's it. Yeah. Organic movement.
Thank
We
you.
need to reintegrate the organic movement within ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
Follow up on that, Gilles. What about our legs? Are we grounding also, like pushing through the feet, or are you thinking, how are you connecting that to the trunk?
Well, it is already connected, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all you need.
Just leave it.
As long if you feel comfortable sitting, that means your feet are touching the ground, so more or less you're sitting cross-legged. But most importantly, you're comfortable.
But I mean, are we
How-
thinking about sinking through the feet too, or no? The whole body.
Be aware. Okay, be aware of the sense of gravity. Be aware of the weight of your body.
Okay.
Your legs are dropping somewhere.
Yes.
You don't need to push them.
Okay.
they already have a weight. So that's the weight you want to use. And you think as you inhale,
Mhm.
and as you exhale, you push your body weight. That means you relax.
Okay.
You don't jump up. So if you contract, you jump. You disconnect.
Mhm.
So that's the essence of Tai Chi, actually. The secret of getting power off the ground. You need to, that's how you build your legs. You build your legs by relaxing them, not by lifting weight. You relax them as you keep shifting your body weight from one leg to the other and relaxing the legs. That's how you build strong legs. See, we have it wrong as Westerners. We think that in order to be strong, you need to get tired. No, you get tired, you just get tired. You make tight tissues. So what happens? The tissue has to grow in order to carry more energy. And by lifting weights, people build like muscle building. Eventually, you get paralyzed. There's so much muscles, but all these muscles is tight and not efficient and not functional.
Okay.
A functional muscle is the muscle that can relax as fast as it can contract, even faster. So that's what you learn to do when you do Tai Chi, when you do Qigong. You relax into the movement. So you start right here from being sitting. You sink as you inhale. And feel the body weights, the weight of your feet, the weight of your toes, the weight of your heels on the ground, the weight of your legs pushing down to your feet, and the weight of your pelvic floor on the chair. So all that weight, you want to, that's where you get the contact. And to feel the weight, you need to relax. And by relaxing the tissues, you open the pathway for the energy to go up. That's where you get vitality. That's why Tai Chi is such a very important discipline. It makes you so strong by relaxing into the movement. Very good question. Very good. I like all those questions that looks like, well, it's kind of strange, but it gives me opportunity to really get into the depths of it. And that's especially from the Western minds. It's so foreign when actually it's taken for granted. In China, it's getting for granted. Most of the country in China, not only in Asian country, in Africa too. The people that connect with the grounds, and they know the power of being present, and by relaxing into it. As a Westerner, we were born to fight. We're fighting everything, including the earth. So we don't trust the support. We don't trust. So we need to change that. It's a pathological field. Okay. What else? Okay, we have a few minutes left. Let's do some practice, and we don't finish only on talking. We need to more practice, and if you do just talking, it doesn't do anything good. So let's review real fast. So breathing in your back, relaxing your weight. So let your body sink as you inhale. And push that body weight into the ground as you exhale. And let it sink even further. So you want to establish a nice, strong footprint and butt prints. Wherever you're touching, you connect with the ground. Being able your body weight. Your body weight is your presence, your mass. So be aware of right here, right now, in the landscape of yours around you. Your presence in your room, changing the room, and all the objects in the room has an influence on your presence and where you are. The room in the house, and the house outside, and the neighborhood, and the whole landscape. And then beyond that, the whole zone of influence, connecting with the food, with your clothing, with the objects you use, equipment, awareness of being. I am occupying a very important space in existence. And not only because I need to be fed, I need to have all this equipment, but by feeding myself, by having all this equipment and clothing, I contribute to the livelihood of others. So I'm part of a very established network already, very strong. And you can connect that also, now that you know, with your solar plexus, a sense of self. How comfortable I am with the fact, with what I eat, how I eat, where it's coming from, and my clothing, and where, all the equipment I'm using. Because this is part of what I am. So being aware of all this allows you to have more choice, basically. From there, you may choose to maybe change your diet because you don't want certain food to come a certain place. Same thing with your clothing and whatever equipment. and you want to get things that participate to enhance your life. Better food. That's priceless. More comfortable clothing. Better equipment. Because all that is a reflection of self. And be aware of yourself as being that energy, vitality, that fountain of life among all those fountains of life around you. And starting now from there, we're starting the fusion by being aware that fountain of life is coming from the past, that energy of water that carries the memory of life. That's in your back and the depth of your body, all the way through your bones. Ancestral memory. Feeling the first two jets of your fountain of life. And the most fundamental, as the foundation of life. First, you have to have a memory of life. Life comes through life. And then you have that information, all that inheritance you received. What is it that you're going to choose? And that's your earth. Your earth is filtering water. Water coming from the surface of the earth as a spring. After being filtered, the same water that's been drank by dinosaurs, by everything alive before you, that keeps coming back, evaporating, coming back to earth. And then from there, you're growing, we're exposing. If you expose that water to the ground, you expose it to the sun. So something grows. And that's because it's attracted toward the light, attracted to fire. So opening the heart. What is it that I like? Anything we do, anything we want to do it the way we like it. We want to move the way we like it. We want to walk the way we like it. We want to do things the way we like it. And we want to do only what we like to do. And if we have to do things we don't like, we still do it the way we like it. Opening your heart to spirit, following the spirit. Only the spirit is going to tell you exactly, very precisely, what is it that you like. If you do what you like, you're following your spirit. Trusting your intuition. Intuition is beyond calculation. We're going to see that next week. And then once you know what you do, something you like, you know that you want to share it. It's too much fun just to keep to oneself. You want to share it, you want to enjoy with others. That's the fifth level, the throat. You describe it and you share it through your hands, you exchange, you trade. Called emulation. I want to say what it is that is part of my spirit, but I want to hear what your spirit is also. And we share. That's culture. And then the culture brings me back consciousness, enhancements of consciousness, my personal consciousness that's made of the collective. Next week, we go to more personal. Share human consciousness. And we're guided to the next level of evolution with the 7th level, following star. So for next week, keep reviewing, so there is a basic chemistry, you know, for healing is very important, especially as Westerners and with a Western lifestyle. We are flooded with way too much adrenaline. So that means that we're dominated by water. It means our behavior is mostly instinctual. We need to change that. We need to bring more warmth, more fire in our lives. So we need to do sunning. So check out the website, sunning meditation, or it takes 3 minutes. It's not a very long meditation. Everyone can do that. You do that a couple times a day, and make sure you keep that chemistry going throughout the day. And so that makes you cultivate the capacity to make more serotonin in your body and less adrenaline. Adrenaline is important. We all need adrenaline because without adrenaline, you're dead. But you want to have the right ratio between adrenaline and serotonin. So yes, you do. Yeah, you're active. You have enough adrenaline for going, but you're making enough also serotonin to appreciate what you're doing. You're not only running through life. Taking your time. That's a serotonin attitude. Taking the time to do things right, the way you like it, of course. So that's how you put more fire in your life, instead of being dominated by water, which is reproducing instinctually, being into survival mode, basically. We want to step out of that if we want to evolve as a human being. Okay. And again, sorry about starting late. I thought we were going from 11 to 1 like we did before. No, it's 10 to 12. Next week, I swear I'll be on time. Inshallah, God's willing. Any last questions before we close?
Feel free to send questions throughout the week if you want.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And email, and I'll put it on the website, and either I answer directly, or I prepare the answer for the next class, which is also very good. But it's good to have it written because it gives me the time and the space also to be able to take the time to answer it, and because I have quite a busy week. So yes, I appreciate the written message.
Carol, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a quick question. One of my favorite parts about doing fusion was walking outside barefoot and getting in touch with ancestors.
Yes.
And I wondered if we are going to be able to do that, even though we're doing Zoom.
To walk out barefoot on Zoom? No, you can just tell you, just do it before the class. No, there's so many different techniques we can do. You know, that's Zoom is for the essence of the teaching. It's really to get into the practice, the depth of the practice. And then from there, I can give you instructions of all the things to do during the week. Now, of course, which is walking barefoot if you want, but you don't have to. It helps for certain people, might not help so much for others. But coming with the kind of question, for example, to be able to mention it during class really helps everyone also. So talking about it, it's like almost like doing it, because people will get the idea of what it is. They get a sense in their own body. It's, oh, I need to do that. With other people don't really care for now. Yeah. So it has to be a choice for everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just really it was very special for me. It really helped my fusion meditation to do that, connecting. Walking.
Yeah. So that's excellent. So that's very important, is to share it. So thank you for talking about it. That's very important, because that would inspire other people to do it. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I want to share
Yes,
something.
go ahead.
I know that the fountain of life feels different every day, but
Yeah.
like today, my fountain of life was way off to the left side of my body the whole time.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So those are things, again, that it's very important to pay attention to what is. And that's a very important part. And because you probably have a very good reason to feel that way. So very important not to, again, stay away from shoulds. I do microrhythmic, it has to be in the center. No, 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 no. Pay attention to really what is. And you know what? Don't correct it. It's okay. Next week, it might be different. But right now, that's the way you feel. Now, why? Who cares? Now, you know that you're going to get better. And the consciousness allows you to be better. So if it's disturbing, if you, oh, come, it's like, it's not comfortable. Well, you're giving yourself the capacity to change. The fact that you don't feel comfortable by feeling something allows you to work on it. Now, if you didn't do that meditation today, you wouldn't be able to know that you're off to the left. So therefore, you're not going to change. So by just the fact that you're in touch with something you're not comfortable with, you're really giving yourself permission to change. Yeah, that's how healing is happening from inside out.
Thanks.
Perfect. That's very good to talk about, because everyone, especially in our Western civilization, we're prisoners of shoulds. And they should be this way, not that way. No, no, no. It is only the way it is. And that's important because it's probably a good reason. But that reason is so complicated. There's no way I can grasp it. It's okay. The whole idea is to get better and better instead of getting worse. If you're not aware of what it is that you do, you're going to get worse. So by being awareness of what that you do, you're really, again, changing for the better. That's very good. Yeah, thank you, Paula. That's a very good input. Mhm. Sorry about not being able to correct it. But again, nothing to correct because probably a good reason. The reason is good, has to be respected. Mhm. Okay, maybe you're going to get a response by next week. Because it's the other axis, emotional and rational, things like that. Very good. So I think that'll be all for today. So
Yeah.
yes, get a question, be also a question for next weekend, because there's so much information coming out, all those questions.
If you know anybody that's interested, they can still hop on board. They
Oh
can
yeah,
get
no
this,
problem.
they'll get this recording and they can join us. There's still time.
Yeah.
So spread the word, spread the fusion.
Yes, spread healing, be
Spread
contagious.
healing. Yeah.
Okay.
All
See
right,
you next
everybody.
week.
Thank you so
All
much for
right.
joining live and being present.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Gilles.
All right. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Gilles.
Thank you.
Bye.